What's going on, everybody? And I know some of you guys are wondering how you're not gonna make a video for 2 weeks and then the first video you do when you come back is over 10 minutes long. But I'm about to do the strip down challenge. And for those of you all who don't know what that is, no, that doesn't mean I'm about to take my clothes off and strip in front of the camera and put it on YouTube. No, it's just a video where you just talk for 10 minutes straight, but you don't have any editing, no background music, anything. Now, I already saw I Did Your Vlogs, Ron Amos, and Devontae the Dreamer do this challenge. So I figured, you know what? I'll go ahead and do it too. So I'm just going to give you guys a little bit more background about myself. But talking for 10 minutes straight is going to be easy for me. And if you don't believe me, you can ask my wife. But my name is Kevin Snell, S-N-E-L-L. I'm 34 years old, and I practically lived in the DMV, the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area my entire life, primarily Maryland, my whole life. But, you know, growing up, I grew up in a single-parent household. I was raised by a single-parent father because my parents got divorced when I was 3. And ever since 3 years old, it was me and him until I got married. But just growing up, yeah, you know, your typical kid, you know, picked on in school or whatnot, you know, just joning, picking on each other. But, you know, aside from that, I was a shy kid growing up. I could make friends, but, you know, just shy, quiet, you know, didn't talk a lot. I was more of an observer and watching what was going on around me than talking. But, you know, just growing up, yeah, I've had bullies, you know, but I took it in stride because, you know, people talking about me, whether it was joking about my skin complexion, my clothes, whatever the case may be, because we were all the same, you know, color, complexion. You just do what you do to say the most hurtful thing you could think of to get a laugh and a rise out of people. But for the most part, you know, it just wasn't a big deal. I'm trying to think the hardest thing for me growing up, because when I think about my childhood, I think that even though it was rough, because of how I was growing up, I didn't see it as rough. Like the most difficult part for me growing up was just with my parents and the fact that they weren't together. You know, yes, I knew who my father was because I lived with him. I knew who my mother was, but because they weren't together, it was hard, you know, seeing my mom leave or seeing them argue or fight or something like that. And it was not what I wanted. I wanted the Huxtable household, you know, the mom, the dad, the siblings, because for me, I know people don't like using this term, but I have what you call half brothers and sisters where, you know, me and my sister, we got the same mother, different fathers. My brother I grew up with, we got the same father, different mothers. And then I have a younger brother where we got the same mother, different fathers, but I don't even have a relationship with him. Like, I reached out to him on Facebook, but I didn't hear a reply back. I'm the type of person, I'm not going to chase you, you know. I'm going to extend a hand, I'm going to say my piece, and then if you want to build from there, that's on you. Because that's kind of how it happened with my sister. I didn't have a relationship with her until in my 20s. And our grandmother passed away, my mother's mother, and I saw her there and just got her phone number and just built a relationship from there. And, you know, we still talk to this day. We were able to hit it off. And then my middle brother, we grew up together because my dad raised both of us by himself. But I would say the most difficult part and the most difficult time in my life was when my dad was dating my brother's mother, who I'm just going to refer to as Black Mamba. Some of you all may have seen that video already. For those of you all new, you haven't. But just seeing the type of person she was, you know, I said to myself, like, man, this something ain't right about this. So her and my dad always talked about getting married. And I can honestly tell you right here, right now, had they got married, one of two things would happen. One, I would have either, you know, joined the military as soon as I was old enough to, or if I would have got to college, I would have went on the West Coast without any hesitation, or I would have ran away from home. Because when my mom, she moved around a lot, so she didn't really have a stable household, but I would have even have rathered endured that than to live with and call Black Mamba my stepmother. That's how bad it was. I'm not gonna go into more detail than that, but it was rough. And even though she's never physically or verbally abused me, she did her kids, but not me. But just as a woman and somebody who she's the reason why to this day I would never call another woman, even playfully, my mom. The only other woman other than my biological mother who I've given that term to, or that title to, is my mother-in-law, because she's my mother-in-law, you know. But outside of that, I never, like when some people joke, yeah, man, that's my mama, or that's mama, or, you know, nah, that's Mrs. So-and-so, or that's Miss So-and-so, because to me, that's a title that, even though you can have it just by biologically having a child, actually being a mother, that's like just a role. And to me, she just wasn't a nice person. But outside of that, growing up, and just the different levels, yeah, it was certain things going on as a kid. Yeah, I used to be jealous. I used to be, arrogant at times, had this mindset that, I'm just gonna be the best of what I could be, regardless of what people think of me. And that's good and bad, but I was doing it in an arrogant way, not in a self-confident, I'm gonna be, great in who I am and so on and so forth. Just having that pride and loving myself. It took me a while to get to that point, but breeze through. I won't say breeze through. That's the wrong term. I made it through high school, but for me, high school is just, I'm just trying to do my work and get out of here so I can go on with the rest of my life. Because one thing I would tell anybody, if you're in high school or college right now, you're watching this video, one thing I want to let you know is that life is a great equalizer. Like, you have some people who are popular in school, boy, when you get older, because of life situations, you find yourself on a very level playing field, or you may see yourself surpassing some people that in high school, it seemed like that they were either popular for the wrong reasons, or some people, they do, like, who were voted most successful or whatever, they do become pretty successful. But, I'll just leave it at life is a great equalizer. But my mindset was just like, I just want to get out of high school. I just want to do these certain things and just get on with my life and just be whoever it is that I wanted to be. But when it came to relationships, oh boy, those were interesting. My mindset with relationships, because see, with my friends, it was all about trying to get with a girl so that you could have sex with her, how many notches you can get on your belt. Not me. My mindset was, I wanted your mind, I wanted your heart, because then if I got those two things, everything else followed. I wanted that, you constantly thought about me. We were just, even if we broke up later on in life, you would still be thinking about me, hopefully in a positive way and not a negative way. But that was my mindset at the time. But I'll never forget, because my friend Tony, when I was 17 years old, I'll never forget, I was outside my dad's place. And there was this girl that lived upstairs, and she had a boyfriend, but my man Tony was like, man, you should flirt with her, show that you a better man, blah, blah, blah. But when they went inside, I said to myself, because, we lived in a condo, so she went upstairs and he went inside. I was thinking to myself, you know what? I want to be my own man. I don't want to be my dad. I don't want to be Tony. I want to be me. And I said, you know what? That was a decision I made. Am I going to be a good man, or I'm going to be a dog? And I said, you know what? I'm going to ride this good man thing out. But I'm going to ride it out to the point that I'm going to be so good that when I ever hear a black woman say that there's no such thing, or there's no good black men out there, I'm be like, you're a liar, because I'm one of them. Because I wanted to be so good that even when we break up and go our separate ways, and when you think back, even in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, you're going to remember me in a positive light and say, man, he was a good man. The funny thing about that is that when I started implementing that, I met my wife when I was 19 years old, and then turned around and we got married on my 21st birthday. So go figure. But that was just my mindset. My mindset is I want to win, but I want to win on my terms. Now, that doesn't mean that I won't make mistakes along the way. That doesn't mean I'm not going to take any L's along the way. But my mindset is just whatever it is that I want to accomplish, I'm going to do it, because I don't want to make excuses. When my life is over, I don't want to make excuses about anything. I don't want to say, well, I couldn't have a good marriage because my parents got divorced when I was 3. So what? They got divorced. I'm not trying to say I got divorced. That doesn't mean that can't happen. But learning what relationships, you got to work with it, but you got to find somebody who you're compatible with. But before you even do that, I had to love myself. I tell people many times that not only had to love my skin, but even the complexion that came with it. Now, for me being dark skinned, it really wasn't that big of an issue. I just made a big issue out of it. I still might do my dark skin and how I feel about a video. Actually, I still will. But I can tell you right now, for me, that wasn't big of an issue, which is ironic because my friend Tony is light skinned, and we were the polar opposites, but yet we got along well. Our skin complexions never came up as an issue. But somebody told me that the ladies talk about it more than men, and I found out that that's true. But like I said, that's a totally different direction. And I'm almost at 10 minutes, so I'm just gonna end this by just saying that, yeah, there were so many things and so many mindsets, but I want to win in life, but I want to win on my terms. I don't want to make excuses. If I make a mistake, I own up to it. If I'm not gonna use other people as excuses unless it's something that a person completely did that I had no control of, no knowledge of, and then I found out later on that, when it comes to my wife, I want to be the best husband I could possibly be. When it comes to my kids, I want to be the best father I could possibly be. That even if I have to ask for advice, seek wisdom, read up information, I know it's going to be things I'm going to go through, especially when they become teenagers. Oh, I'm not in a rush for that. But, I want that when my life is over, and I'm going to just put this out there a lot, I want it to be that when my life is over, that people will say about me that no matter whether you love me, you hated me, you liked me, or you didn't like me, that you can say, but you know what, I respect that dude. That, he was sincere, he was honest, he had an open mind, that, even if we didn't agree or we had to agree to disagree about something, that it was done in a respectful manner, and that when my life is over, you can say that, hey, yeah, he was only in my life for a season or a time or whatever the case may be, but he was a good dude, and he is somebody, a human being, that I had the privilege to say, I'm glad that I knew this guy. That's what I want to be. I want to be that person when this is all said and done. I'm not worried about getting awards. I'm not worried about getting accolades. I'm not worried about being the most famous person. When it comes to this whole YouTube thing, I'm not one of those people that care that if I get, 500,000 or millions of subscribers. Would it be nice? Yeah, it would be nice. I'd be lying to you if I said it wasn't. But that's not the whole focus of why I started this channel. This isn't the reason why I carry myself on the day-to-day how I do. I'm not living my life to impress people. I'm living my life that I want to make not only, be happy and love myself and spread that around to others as well, but I want to be somebody who inspires people. I want you to, no matter what you've been through in your life, you can know that you can do better and be better, but you could do it to your own standards and on your own terms. Yeah, in this game of life, you do have to play the game, but you can set the rules to what you are willing to do, what you're not willing to compromise on, and that to do what needs to be done to find your happiness in the realm that when this is all said and done and it's all over with, you can say, you know what, I lived the life that I wanted to live to the fullest, and I'm content and I'm happy with it. But I know I'm well past 10 minutes, so I'm going to stop here, and I'm trying not to be away for 2 more weeks, but I do have some other videos in the works. So I'm going to stop here and just say, as always, be wise, and until I see you guys next time, have a great weekend.